Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, a women's gymnastics edition. Today, we are doing part two of the Olympic special for gymnastics as a whole, specifically the women. If you haven't listened, part one came out September 4th, so a little about last week. Maybe by the time you listen to this, it'll be 2 weeks that since part one came out. So definitely listen to part one before you listen to part two. And we have the college gymnast expert, Miss Sarah Bogan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. So well. How are you today?
I am doing great because now, since part one, we focus on the other gymnasts who weren't a part of Team USA, giving them their shine. And as we promised, that part two, we will finally hit on some of the drama pieces that happened throughout the Olympics because you can't have an Olympics without any U.S. gymnast drama.
Of course
Uh,
not.
So we're going to start first with the battle between I don't even know what to call them because this the fraternity sorority of U.S. gymnasts,
Yes.
Miss MyKayla Skinner versus
Oh, oh, we're starting
we're
here.
starting here
Okay.
versus basically versus Team USA.
Yeah, former Team USA. Well, I guess technically they say once you're an Olympian, you're always an
Yeah.
Olympian. But Miss MyKayla Skinner, and we are an NCAA gymnastics podcast primarily.
Mhm.
And MyKayla Skinner was one of University of Utah's stars for around, I'd say 2018 to about 2021 when she decided to make another run at the Olympics. She was an Olympic alternate in 2000. Oh, what was Simone's first year? 2016. Yeah.
Mhm.
So she was an alternate in 2016. Was very, very vocal about the fact that she felt that she should have been on that team and wasn't an alternate. She retweeted a Photoshop of somebody had photoshopped a picture of MyKayla Skinner's face over Gabby Douglas's face,
Mhm.
and MyKayla retweeted it, and so that was very controversial. She then went to college. I assume she matured. Um, Left college, decided to go and make another run at the Olympics. She made it all the way to the Olympics, won a silver medal on vault, and then finished school in Utah and um, started basically blogging. She was a YouTuber. She became kind of a Utah YouTube star as she was doing her lead up to the Olympics. Her husband Jonas was featured a lot, and so that's kind of how she cultivated this television personality, or not television, but social media personality. And she now has a daughter. So she and Jonas had their first child, and it's become kind of like a family blog kind of thing. So that's the backstory of MyKayla Skinner. Because she has not always said the most, she hasn't always been the most polite on Twitter. She has used the N word casually. She's gotten criticism for that. She had the tweeting, retweeting situation. And then she was also very, very vocal during her college years about how she felt like should have gotten more perfect tens than she did. So there's a lot of controversy within the gym internet surrounding MyKayla Skinner, and there always has been. So that's kind of the stage we're setting here. Um,
I
so
will
that's
say
MyKayla.
real quick, that she did have three perfect tens in her career at Utah. March 3rd, 2017, March 18th, 2017. So literally within 2 weeks of each other. And March 22nd, 2019 in the floor. She had one against Stanford, and then on the
Mhm.
March 3rd, and then the two on the March 18th, 2017 and March 19th, 2019, both in the Pac-12 championships. I mean, to give her her own credit, obviously, you know, I'm better than me with going to Utah. She's a very decorated individual within the University of Utah, two-time NCAA champion, sent some Pac-12 records. I don't know if those records stand still to this day, but at the
Yeah,
time she had
I'd
some.
have to look. I'd have to look into it for sure, but she absolutely, I wouldn't be surprised if she still holds them. It took her, the perfect tens are one thing, but she was also an incredibly steady and consistent gymnast. I think it was her junior year before she fell in a college meet at all.
And she
So,
was voted the Collegiate Female Athlete of the Year in 2020.
mhm,
So she is very good at her craft.
she is. But yes, go ahead.
But I
Go
was
ahead,
just
Martin.
just setting the stage with that, just because it's not obviously there's enormous levels between someone like Skinner, who is very good, to then like a Simone, who is the best ever. Um, but just want to set the stage that for people who don't know, Skinner is not a scrub. Like, she's not a scrub by any means. So she knows what she's talking about in terms of gymnastics because she has so much experience. But as we'll get to it, as Simone said, not everyone deserves and needs to have a microphone in front of their
And
face. So
that is a Simone quote.
this all started. You already gave the backstory, so perfect. You know, they were teammates and she thought she should have been on. So you gave that backstory. July 3rd, literally before America's birthday. Perfect timing. Skinner, she shaded the U.S. gymnastics team ahead of the 2024 Olympics. This is her exact quote, word for word. Besides Simone, I feel like the talent and depth just isn't what it used to be, she said in her YouTube video. I mean, obviously, a lot of the girls don't work as hard. The girls don't have the worth ethic. A lot of girls don't work as hard. It's hard too because of safe sport. Coaches can't get on athletes in some ways is really good, but at the same time, to get to where you need to be in gymnastics, you do have to be a little aggressive, a little intense. We're going to be doing this. I'm going to break each day and we're going to break it down. First, your thoughts on her statement on the day before the 4th of July.
Well, I think she was a little bit careless with her wording, and she did say in a response, she was like, "I didn't get my point across very well." So what she was saying about, and what she has kind of emphasized since, is what she was saying about like the work ethic and situations like that. She was referring more to like going back to her home gym and seeing like younger generations, which she said was not working as hard. Um, and she claims that she wasn't talking about the current Olympic team for those comments. But I think the um, comments about degrading safe sport was probably something that crossed a line, I think, for a lot of the gymnasts, given that Simone has come out and has said that she is a survivor of the abuse of the former doctor. Um, and USA Gymnastics went through this huge reckoning after the Caroli stepped down. There's a big change in culture. A lot of gymnasts have said that that is for the better. So I think the comments that she made were like insensitive, and I think especially things saying like she kind of alluded to Suni because Suni fell multiple times in the Olympic trials and still came in second place because her difficulty score was high enough. But another thing MyKayla said in her video is, "Oh, like I can't believe like somebody who fell multiple times can still be in second place. Like we're just not that awesome." So, like all of that sort of things, like the digs at the current gymnast was a kind of a low blow. I like that was definitely a problem. Um, but I think the bigger thing that she got critiqued for, and I think the deeper thing that the Gymternet at least is fired up about, is her allusion to how it was better before because the USA Gymnastics has made a lot of changes. A lot of them have been very, very positive. Um, and for me, MyKayla kind of knocking the new way of doing things and kind of speaking um, really reverently and kind of fondly of the previous regime that we found out was very, very abusive and very unhealthy and would not have seen the longevity. Like USA gymnasts used to burn out at 16. Now we're having these incredibly long careers that's happening because of the changes that have been made. And so I think that's kind of the deeper thing at play here.
So on her stuff, just from an in general thing, it's kind of strange and kind of fascinating because she's not, I guess, law, within 5 to 10 years. She's in our same like age range, but she's still younger than the both of us. But she still falls, I think, in the millennial category or close to it. So what I heard her say, like they don't work as hard, things of that, at first, before the insight about the safe sport and all that stuff, is just the old what everyone says, my generation worked harder than your generation. You guys didn't have to go through X, Y, Z. You didn't have to do this. It's so easy, et cetera, et cetera. Which, in hindsight, it is true. I mean, not for this, but just in general for life, because I mean, each generation is it's supposed to get easier because of the hard work the previous ones are doing. Now I can understand people being mad at that. Trust me, I have too. But I mean, we're the same grade, a grade, age, both the thing, whatever. It's graduated at the same time. So, you hear the workforce in our group coming in, look at these millennials, they don't work as hard, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's switched to the different generations and all of that. It just felt weird coming from her because she is younger. It's not like she's like a 40-year-old retired gymnast who went against the Soviet Union. And I was like, you're a millennial too. And you're saying like these girls aren't that much younger than you. So that was my first thing. I was like, I
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, two of them, like basically all of them. She was on an Olympic team with
Hmm.
almost all of this Olympic team.
So to say they don't work as hard, I feel like that's a get off my old person get off my lawn thing, which sometimes it's true. I just don't think it's true in this situation. And saying they don't have enough work ethic, I just think you can't say anyone who is at least the Olympic trials doesn't have enough work ethic to get to even the trial point. You have to be extremely good at your craft and you have to work extremely hard. So I just felt like that was a mute point. Coaches can't get on athletes the same way. Now, I will say each athlete is different, especially in this day and age. Some athletes want the yelling coach, like rhyme them and all that stuff. That's how they operate. Some can handle that, which is perfectly fine too. It's just that's the coach's job to see what best motivates your people. But then to your thing, obviously not cross. There's a line. There's not really a line, but you can be aggressive and a hard ass coach on your people without crossing and being abusive. Like you can do that. So.
Yeah, and it's something that gymnastics is still going through this reckoning, and we're seeing it a lot in the turnover of college coaches. So, like Tom
Mhm.
Farden from the University of Utah, we were talking about him last season. He was accused of really abusive behavior, ended up leaving. Larissa Libby from University of Iowa
Mhm.
is gone. Um, Sounds like Randy Lane from Long Island University is going to be gone. The former coach of Utah State, who's now coaching at Clemson University, she's had a lot of allegations against her in terms of abusive coaching styles, and it's a balancing act. I understand like a lot of coaches are frustrated,
Mhm.
and there's nerves surrounding like, okay, do I need to like think harder about what I say and how I speak to athletes and how I treat athletes? And so like I understand that it can be like, stressful and like it involves a lot more thought than it needed to before. But at the same time, I do think like as a leader, like we need to be looking to coaches to take accountability and to learn and to grow and to learn about what motivates their individual athletes. I listened to a podcast on figure skating called The Run Through, and it's a couple of Olympians who talk, Adam Rippon and Ashley Wagner. They both had a coach named Raphael Archunian, who was a very, very tough coach, especially on Ashley. And she talked about it. But they talked about tough coaching in terms of consent. So like athletes need to, especially athletes that are like, it's a little bit different when you're coaching a minor, but like when you are an adult, like you are able to consent or not consent to really tough coaching.
Mhm.
And that's a conversation I haven't really heard quite so much come into the gymnastics side of things, but I think we're going to see that a little bit more. Like tough coaching does work, but it doesn't work for everybody, and it needs to be done carefully. And just oversimplifying it and blaming it on safe sport just isn't isn't the thing. Isn't the right way to go.
So that same day on the 3rd, Simone responded with a comment I already said. Not everyone needs a mic and platform regarding Miss Skinner. On the 4th of July, Skinner apologized, like you already said, saying her thing was misconstrued, like she didn't say what she really wanted. It got convoluted, and like you just said, the more she goes back into her own gym, just the work ethic is different compared to when we were doing gymnastics in the Martha Carlinelli era. And she said, I'm not sticking up for her or saying what she did was good. I'm just saying it was different. So she did that. Her PR, whoever her PR person, maybe it's her husband, got on her. Is like, hey, you got to do the age old. I formally apologize, like the formal apology posted on the
Yeah,
4th
I'm
of
not
July.
I'm not sure I saw an apology in there though. It was a little bit more like I'm sorry, it wasn't I'm sorry I hurt people. I'm sorry I hurt and said negative things about the team. It was I'm sorry people misconstrued what I was saying.
Yeah, so her
It
following statement was such. I want to formally apologize to Team USA and to our gymnast community for my comments during my recent YouTube episodes of the Gymnastic Olympic trials. It was not in my intention to offend or disrespect any of the athletes or take away from their hard work. Your hard work and dedication has paid off, and I congratulate each and every one of you. Upon reflection, I was comparing the Martha era to the current era. I'm coming to terms that I have not fully dealt with the emotional and verbal abuse that I endured under Martha that perhaps led to my hurtful comments. I take responsibility for what I said and deeply apologize. It is the most important to me. It is most important to me that the sport I love continue down the path of healing and ensure a positive environment for all. I wish you all the very best in Paris. I'll be cheering you all on. Go Team USA. That is so PR crafted. It is not genuine at all. Very PR crafted. But fast forward from the 4th to July 30th, Simone Biles is starting to rack up the medals. They won the team gold medal in the team competition. Simone posted a picture on her Instagram with the caption, lack of talent, lazy Olympic champions. We all know who that was going to. That was a direct shot at Skinner. So this was not over by any means. On the 31st, Skinner blocked Simone on X. Simone wrote, oop, I've been blocked, along with three emojis. She didn't specify who blocked her, but of course, Jordan confirmed Simone was referring to MyKayla in her post, saying, yeah, when she blocked Simone, captioned the post. So we're at the end of July. USA starting to win, and Simone gets blocked by MyKayla. And
yeah,
we
what got me about like there's like the Simone post. Like the
Mhm.
Simone post was like, it was a dagger. It was like it hit the nail on the head. It was wonderful. But like what got me wasn't just the post and the fact that she made it, but like what the reactions to that post from like top athletes from USA Gymnastics, former Olympians, current Olympians, the way that top people in the gymnastics world were piling on this post and supporting what Simone said, I think speaks to how deeply MyKayla Skinner's comments on that YouTube video like kind of went. Like I think I even saw USA Gymnastics, like the USA
Mhm.
Gymnastics account, like reacted with like laughing emojis. Um, so that was really impressive to see.
Yeah, and you think that it would be over at this point. It is not. You get to
Of course
August
not.
6th. MyKayla, after blocking Simone, which this is my thing with these type of things before. Well, I'll say it first and then I'll say what I was going to say. So first, MyKayla Skinner on August 6th pleads to Simone Biles to put an end to online threats in a passionate video clip. MyKayla directly reached out to Simone on, I think, YouTube. I'm asking to request her followers stop cyberbullying. She has endured since the controversial comments. Things have gotten out of hand lately. It's one thing to disagree with me regarding something I said or a point I'm trying to make, but it's something else entirely when it turns into cyberbullying or even worse. She said there was threats of physical harm against her husband and her infant daughter. Please ask your followers to stop. You've been an incredible champion. Okay, I'm not reading all the rest of that. So I have two caveats real quick. No,
Okay.
three. One, I hate that these celebrity, I guess you can say she's an Olympian, so celebrity, that they have to make
She's a public
public
figure.
figure, yeah, that you have to make up a video publicly asking Simone to do something for two reasons. One, you're the one who blocked her on Twitter. Two, I assume you have her number. Why don't you call her like a normal person and have a behind closed doors? That's why I was just like, would she really care about stuff? Or she doing it for clicks? I'm like, you have her number, and I know you can get her number, so you can call her and be like, hey, can we talk one on one and clear it all up instead of posting the video. Number two, to say that all the people who are saying the negative stuff about you and whatnot are all Simone Biles fans, I think that's a little, I don't want to say dangerous, or I'm trying to think of the right word.
Yeah,
It's
it's an
not true.
overgeneralization.
Yeah, it's not true because not, of course, you do not know that every person who said whatever the negative things they were saying to you are Simone Biles fans.
Well, and you're also like, it's not everybody who is reacting that way is reacting because of Simone's Instagram post. It's like people are
Hmm.
reacting because of the things MyKayla originally said.
Hmm. So,
But go on.
and then my third thing is that for the fans, if you don't like what she said, that is perfectly fine. I didn't either. But threatening like her life and bullying and like her husband and infant child, that's not okay. And I also want to caveat with saying that is not a majority of any fan base. It's always the vocal minority in these type of things that get the headlines. So I'm pretty sure all other gymnast fans like yourself and all that, the normal gymnast fans weren't going to her stuff saying, oh, I hope your husband falls in a well or something. I'm pretty sure most of you guys were, it's just that small, and I don't even know if you can call yourself a gymnastics fan if you're threatening gymnasts with physical harm. So
Of
those were my
course.
little caveats on those things. She should have just called
Yeah.
someone personally.
Yeah, definitely don't air it out in public. I will agree with you, like fully don't condone the rising to violence and such, but the threats on her life, on her daughter, especially her family's life, that's you should never bring anyone's family into
Mm-hmm.
anything. But yeah, I think I was unhappy with a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
One was that she was making it Simone's problem to
Yeah.
fix the issue. At the time, this was at the end, like the Olympics had already ended. Simone had a lot going on. Jordan Chiles, who we are going to talk about later, also had a lot going on. I'm sure Simone was really focused on supporting her teammate Jordan and enjoying her Olympic experience that she didn't really get last time. So I think it was kind of crossing a line a little bit, like turning it and like blaming things on Simone and asking Simone to fix it. Um, and then in her statement, she talks about like, oh, Simone's like this great advocate for mental health. And like a lot of like people were critical of Simone saying, like, oh, you are this champion for mental health. You preach about how important mental health is, but then like you made this post that's causing like cyberbullying and it's making like this person's mental health lower. And like I guess I don't really like that very much because in Simone's advocacy about mental health, like she never talks about like in all of her advocacy, she never talks about like, oh, the way we solve mental health problems is by getting people to stop being mean on social media. It was like the way like people were horrible to Simone after the last Olympics. There have always been haters of Simone.
Well,
And
real
she didn't.
quickly, it's funny you said that the past three sentences, because the people who are saying that she's this champion for mental health and what are you doing posting stuff, we're also the same people who basically called Simone weak-minded, soft, trash. It is just funny how people change their tune to fit the narrative they want to fit, but continue.
Mhm. But yeah, Simone didn't solve, like, she didn't address her mental health, like, her challenges that she faced, like, before, during, and after Tokyo. What she did for herself to improve her mental health was not to stop the haters, to stop the bullies. It was for her to do the internal work and surround herself with positive people and to go to therapy and work on her mental health. That's not the same. Like, I think not everything that's negative. I think that the way mental health is kind of spoken about, kind of surrounding this Olympics, it kind of missed the mark a little bit. As
Agreed.
I feel like it oversimplifies it, and it also like puts the responsibility of everyone else's mental health on not the people who are, you know, at the center. And I think that could be problematic.
Agreed. Agreed. Obviously, the Olympics, it's been a couple of weeks since it's ended. This story has truly died down to when it was at its peak, late July, early August. I mean, obviously, she's going to continue making videos. Simone's going to keep living her life. The rest of the USA team's going to keep living their lives. I think this is one of those things where it's like a simple, oh, you should think before you post type ordeal. And if you are genuinely sorry, instead of making a big hoopla about it, text the people and call the people individually. You have their numbers. You don't need to use this for extra views on your channel. You already got the money. So, truly,
Yeah,
anything else you want to
I
add to it?
agree. That's all.
All right. Now, the other drama in this world, well, in the world of gymnastics, which actually came to affecting results since we brought her up, Jordan.
Yes.
I mean, I'll just let you go from here, man, because I got some dates when
Yeah.
some stuff happened, but go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. So by all means interrupt me and
Hmm.
so the floor final, and I'm assuming that we are going to end the podcast by talking about the wonderful thing that was women's gymnastics at the 2024 Olympics
Yes.
right up until the end. um, but at the very end we had the floor final, and where to even begin? So okay, so the floor final. Okay, so first of all, the floor final is at the very end of the Olympics. It's the very last event. Um, and it started with, 8 people make every event final. We had 2 Americans in the floor final. Jordan Chiles was the first time we saw her since team finals, and Simone Biles, of course. We also had multiple Romanians, which we talked a little bit. I think we might have talked a little. I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but Romania is a long-time gymnastics powerhouse, but they've been in the midst of a little bit of an Olympic medal drought. So last time they got an Olympic medal in gymnastics was 12 years ago. And
Hmm.
this is after, so Marta and Bella Caroli, who kind of built this dynasty in the US before they came to the US and had Mary Lou Retton all around champion in 1984, they were in Romania and they created Nadia Comaneci, the 1976 Olympic gold medalist, who got the first Olympic perfect 10. And it's just this incredible, and then like that began the dynasty that was Romanian gymnastics. Romania was a huge rival of Soviet Union, and those two nations kind of owned, the Eastern Bloc countries really owned international gymnastics, but they've been struggling. So we had Romania made it back to the Olympics as a team for the first time in a few Olympics, actually. And they had these two amazing gymnasts in the floor final. One of them being Anna Barbosu and the other being Sabrina. Oh no, help me, Martin. Sabrina.
You keep
No, I should
going.
know this.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
I got you.
So anyway, they were both in the floor final, and then Rebecca Andrade is in the mix, of course, from Brazil. So, things are happening, different people go up and do their routines. Rebecca Andrade has an amazing routine. Simone goes up, super tired, goes out of bounds a couple of times, just barely ends up behind Rebecca. So Rebecca Andrade is set up to be Olympic gold medalist. Sabrina Voinea, thank you, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
So before, I forget the order of what was going down, but Sabrina Voinea, no, so Anna Barbosu from Romania went up. She did her routine. I forget what exact score she got. Sabrina Voinea went a couple of gymnasts later. They tied. She got the same score as Anna, but Sabrina lost in the tiebreak. So we have Romanian. And then at the top, we have Rebecca Andrade's in first, Simone's in second, and then we've got Anna Barbosu in third, Sabrina Voinea in fourth. Jordan Chiles is the last to go. She goes up, she does a decent routine, comes off the floor, gets her score, and she's placed in fifth. So the rules of gymnastics allow inquiries to be made. So like there are just like many other sports that are officiated in some way, there are means to challenge the decisions of officials. And so Jordan Chiles' coach did what's called putting in an inquiry for her difficulty score. So in elite gymnastics, there's the difficulty score and the execution score. They get added together. Mm-hmm. You can contest your D score, basically. So Jordan's coach put in an inquiry for the D score saying like, okay, Jordan did this leap well, like better than she's ever done it. She should get full credit. And it worked. So the complicated aspect of this was Jordan was the last to go. Her score came up. The three medalists believed that they had won these medals. So there's this image from the floor final of Anna Barbosu from Romania standing up on the podium celebrating with her flag. And then Jordan's changed score comes through. We find out Jordan has the bronze. And so there's kind of this juxtaposition of Jordan just like dropping to the floor because she's so excited and she's sobbing. And then meanwhile, we've got Anna Barbosu like realizing in front of the entire world that the bronze she thought she had, she no longer had. So that's what happened on floor final day. Oh, and then one more thing I'll mention is that this podium, so Rebecca Andrade was gold, Simone Biles was silver, Jordan Chiles was bronze. So this was the first all-black Olympic gymnastics podium in history. Mm-hmm. So there was that component. And the medal ceremony, the U.S. gymnasts have made it very clear that they have huge amounts of respect for Rebecca Andrade. And Jordan and Simone kind of decided, and I think Jordan orchestrated this. They got up on their podium, and as Rebecca was standing up on the podium, they both like bowed down to her. And mm-hmm. There's this great image of her standing with her arms over her head, and Jordan and Simone are just like worshiping her to the sides. It was a really beautiful moment. So yeah, that is what happened on floor final day. So what happened next, Martin?
Oh man. So that was the fifth. Let's see. Where is my we're gonna try it. I just want to find the exact date. All right. So that was on the 5th. So then we get to August 6th, 2024, where obviously when something like that happens, you're not happy. Romania's sports governing bodies didn't take too kindly to the scoring change. The president of the Romanian Olympic and Sports Committee sent a letter of protest to the International Gymnast Federation, Shortly after the event's conclusion, they insist that the FIG president ordered to reanalyze by the decision-making factors for the case of the Romanian athlete Sabrina regarding the score given to the execution exercise of the floor final. That was August 6th. And then August 10th, the Romanian team wasted little time filing a petition to the Court of Operations of Sport CAS over the scoring floor exercise final. On August 10th, CAS released the results of their investigation. The Switzerland-based entity found Landy's appeal came outside of the 1 minute window permitted by FIG, missing the mark by 4 seconds. They read CAS ruled that the original scores of Monday's finals, which saw Styles place fifth behind the Romanians, should be restored. The appeal, which argued that her heel did not stay out of bounds, was rejected. That right there itself, I didn't even know there was all these appeal boards in gymnastics, so I learned a
Yeah.
lot in that day. And the fact that they're like, yeah, you guys should restore the original things after everyone celebrated, after those medals have been there, they've been partying. Yeah, we're gonna send back the original rankings of
Yeah, and
that.
I have a few things I want to make sure I clarify about this.
Hmm.
So first of all, I want to like make it clear what is normal about this and what is abnormal about this. Like what
Okay.
is something that's routine and what is unprecedented.
Hmm.
So like, you can look at the evidence, you can have your opinion about what should have happened, like you can say like, Romania was able, like they had a right to appeal and they did. The US you can say like the case can be made for any of these gymnasts to have the bronze medal, I think. But what is true is that the process of inquiring a D score and petitioning to have your D score changed is very, very normal. It happens in gymnastics. It has happened at the Olympics before. It has happened between a Romanian gymnast and a US gymnast at the Olympics before. In 2012, Catalina Panor was in the beam final, sitting in bronze position at the end of rotation. Ali Raisman was the last from the USA, was the last to go up. She ended up in fourth. Her coach put in an inquiry. She had difficulty points added. She moved up into the bronze medal position, knocked Romanian, the incredible Catalina Panor, out of bronze medal position. It happened. Another thing that is common, something kind of odd about gymnastics and the inquiry rules is there's a lot of discussion about this 1 minute time limit. The grounds for removing the medal from Jordan Chiles by CAS was that they claimed that the amount of time it took to have the inquiry accepted was 64 seconds instead of 60 seconds, and 60 seconds was the hard limit. Okay. So for every gymnast in the lineup, except for the last gymnast, they have until the next gymnast starts their routine, basically. So it can take up to 4 minutes. And then the last gymnast only has a minute to figure out that they want to put an inquiry in, fill out the form, run across the floor, and give the inquiry to the judge. There's no freaking way that happens within a minute for all the time,
Hmm.
So that's, just for context, it's something that has happened. It's changed results before. It is part of the sport. Inquiring the D score is something that's part of the rules and something that gymnasts do all of the time. What is not normal, in my opinion, is not just changing the result. So we had a situation here where a result was changed in hindsight, a medal was taken away, and a medal was awarded. So for Olympic medals, it is unprecedented for a medal that has already been awarded to be taken away. So examples of this are like in 2002, Salt Lake City, my old city. Salt Lake City had a figure skating, kind of a lot of Americans are aware of the figure skating scandal in 2002. There was overt, like proven, verified judging controversy and conspiracy to ensure that the Russian couple in the Paris competition got gold and the Canadian team got silver. Um, so those were the results that happened, regardless of the Russians messing up a little bit and the Canadians having the skate of their life. Investigations were done, collusion between judges, vote trading, vote buying, all of that was taken into account. It was found that Russia should not have won that gold medal. Rather than take a gold medal away from Russia, they decided to award a second gold medal to Canada. So, like, there are a lot of situations like that where taking a medal away has never really happened before unless there's a case of clear cheating or doping. And that's where this feels icky to me. Like, it feels really, really unfair that in this situation, the IOC and the FIG isn't bending over backwards to make sure they're not punishing an athlete for a procedural error that they had no control over after the fact. That's what I think is really unprecedented about this. And I think that's where a lot of outrage is coming from, for me personally.
So, the USA, obviously, they do their thing, trying to, then they submit their appeals. And then about August 12th, the Romanian Gymnast Federation announced that the CAS rejected the United States Gymnastics request to reopen the case and look into this because, this is, I mean, for like you said, unprecedented in the fact they're like, this isn't sitting right. We're going to fight this, yada, yada. But then it got denied. And then August 15th, Jordan Chiles had her first public statement that she posted on Instagram. I'll put the link in the video description box. And funny enough, before we get to that, because she actually just had her first interview like today or yesterday. My thing is, so with this medal, so do they physically go to her and yank it off her neck and take it?
So physically, they have not taken the medal from her yet. Jordan still physically has the medal, and I would imagine that USA Gymnastics is saying, do not give that back until the appeals and the fight is over, because the fight and the appeals aren't over. They're going forward with appealing to the Swiss Federal Tribunal, which can ask CAS to reopen the case.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so Jordan still physically has her medal. They did physically award Ana Barbosu of Romania a new bronze medal. So she was the one who was seen realizing she didn't have the bronze anymore and having that shocked face result. She now has her medal. Jordan still physically has her medal, but the rule book and the official Olympic record book says that Jordan Chiles finished fifth in the floor final, and Ana Barbosu is the official bronze medalist. So Jordan does still physically have her bronze medal, but as of right now, she's not considered to be the Olympic bronze medalist or an Olympic bronze medalist.
Okay. So that clarifies something I was going to say, because I was going to say if I didn't before this knowledge of if she had to give that medal back, I'm like, you're going to have to come and kill me. Didn't people probably listening to this didn't think there'd be a wrestling reference in there, but a long, long time ago, for people probably listening, probably weren't even born. There was an incident where Stone Cold Steve Austin, you probably know who he is. He was champ, and there was a disagreement with the boss, and he took his title and went home, and he put that title in the freezer and said, "If you're gonna want this title, you're gonna have to come to my house, and you're gonna have to kill me." So that's how I would have felt with Jordan. Like, you're gonna have to come to my house to get this title because I'm not coming to France. I'm not coming to Switzerland. I'm not coming to Romania. None of that. If you want this thing so bad, you will have to come meet me at UCLA, wherever the hell you want to meet, and you're gonna have to take it from me because I'm not giving it back. But now I
Mm-hmm.
know that she has the girl got her own medal, I digress. But if it was different, that's what my advice would have been to Jordan. And I would have
Yeah,
said
and I
USA
think a
better
lot
back
of
her up too.
and a lot of people have that. Like a lot of people on Twitter had that feeling, had that like we will fight everybody else to make sure Jordan can keep that medal.
So
Um,
she had her statement, and then she also just, if you didn't watch, she spoke on USA Today yesterday on 9/11, and she was at the VMAs where, if you didn't
yes.
know, big gymnastics or women's sports supporter Flavor Flav presented her with the bronze with his own created bronze. Flavor Flav, he's famous for the big clock chains. Presented Jordan with her own bronze one, so that was really cool. But she spoke about it on USA Today. I don't know who conducted the interview, but I got the article where she basically said the decision feels unjust, comes as a significant blow, not just to me, but to everyone who has championed my journey, which I said on the last one. I personally think Jordan is the most popular gymnast. Like, of course, everyone loves Simone Biles, but like in terms of like who you would, if you had a hat, who would you want to hang out with in a day? Majority of the
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna pick Jordan.
Like who did you want? Like who did you most want to make that team? Like who would
Yeah.
you be most excited about? I went to Olympic trials with my good friend Abby, who's
Hmm.
like not a big gymnastics supporter, but is a big women's sports supporter. And Jordan grabbed her heart because
Yep.
Jordan is so supportive of everybody. She knows how to work a crowd like anybody else. Like, I don't know if I got a chance to tell this story after my Olympic trials episode, but um, Jordan has two vaults that she does because she's a vault specialist. And so at Olympic trials, she did her first vault, went down to the end of the runway, was waiting for her scores and to be told she could go for her second vault. She just was absentmindedly like clapping along with the music. And the entire arena of 16,000 people, she got clapping around along with her. Like she connects with her fellow gymnasts, she connects with the crowd. She's just like, she has the ear of a lot of celebrities. Like she
Oh
got
yeah.
when she made the Olympic team, I think Megan the Stallion sent her
Mhm.
flowers. Like she is a celebrity.
She's a fan favorite.
Um so and like even, on the beam podium or the floor podium, like she was up there getting her bronze medal, but like she used her time there to like celebrate Andrade and celebrate this first all black podium. And it's just like, this is not what you want for Jordan. Um, Something we haven't touched on yet was like, there's, everything going on with like her medal and, the controversy and like everything that goes along with like having her medal stripped from her. Something that shouldn't be ignored and like we shouldn't gloss over is the way that she and everyone in the situation really were treated online. So she had to deactivate her Instagram for a while because she was getting so much hate, so much aggression, so much like people were calling her the N word with the hard R. They were making it very race, and I think she said in her statement, she's like, this was like what was terrible about this was how people attacked her for her race.
Yeah, she said it yesterday. To me, everything that has gone on is not about the medal, it's about my skin color, the 23-year-old Olympic gymnast said. So
Yeah,
you
like
hit.
even before Romania formally appealed, there were like conspiracy theories on the gymternet. Like every fandom has its like
Hmm.
crazy online people, but like there were like Romanian stans who were like, oh, like this was a conspiracy. Like uh, the only reason FIG accepted that inquiry to like put Jordan into third place was because they wanted to be able to make the political statement of having an all black podium. And there was like that sort of thing was happening even before stuff went down officially. Um, and it only got worse. It's luckily died down quite a bit, but for a while there, the gym internet was not a pleasant place to be. You reached out to me and I about doing a podcast, and I was like, I'm not ready yet because things are so nasty right now. There's nothing positive right now. Um, Things have kind of mellowed a little bit, thankfully, and I think Jordan is, still fighting for her medal. USA Gymnastics is still kind of fighting for her justice. She got her Flava Flav necklace. She walked in Fashion Week. I think she presented an award to Taylor freaking Swift last night at the VMAs. Um, I think Jordan is going to be just fine. I think she's going to be even more famous as a result of this. But like what she had to go through and what everybody involved in this situation had to go through was not okay and was not good or positive. And, talking about, like it's just not something you want to see happen to any gymnast, especially not, somebody who doesn't do anything wrong and is just such a likable person who we want to be able to celebrate.
Agreed. It's
So
funny
that's
how
how I feel about it.
it's funny how unity works because you talked about the unity of the people supporting her and having her back and things like that. But then on the flip side of the same coin, the unity of the people for whatever reason who were basically really abusing her on social media and all that, where both, I mean, the negative unity obviously thinks that they're right in this situation, but they're not right because Jordan didn't disrespect any of the gymnasts, any of that stuff is just, I mean, how would you feel if like you got hired for a job? Try to put it in real life context. You got hired for a job. You get sent the acceptance paperwork. You're filling out all the stuff. You're at basically, you've already signed in with HR. You're going into your office wherever the first day. And then at the end of the first day, you get a notification saying, um, sorry, so and so appealed, and now we gotta give your job to someone else. When you put it in normal people terms, you're like, that is absolute BS. And hence put that normal situation into the Olympic situation.
Yeah, it's wild. And I think especially like I said, it's like the fact that nothing like this has happened before and it has gone against precedent that we've already seen from the FIG and the IOC. It just makes it a tough pill to swallow. Um,
2028 is going to
and
be interesting because
it will
now you
be
have
very interesting.
hidden hate now between Romania and the United States because this isn't going to go lightly now anytime they compete.
Yeah. And I do want to like just kind of mention, this might be a hot take, but like I want to like make sure that like the Romanians, these incredible Romanian gymnasts aren't lost in this discussion because
Mm-hmm.
like we had Romania making it back to the Olympics as a team for the first time in ages. Um, that program has, it has an incredible legacy. It's worked very hard to make it back to the very, very top. This medal that Anna Barbosu ended up getting was the first Olympic medal in gymnastics for Romania since 2012. And it makes me sad. Like, I was so happy for Romania. Like, I was so happy to see them accomplish what they did, in this quad leading up to the Olympics and what they were able to do at the games. It's sad to me that their first Olympic medal in all these years is going to kind of be tarnished by this controversy as well. And I would think that they would have wanted to have their first medal in 12 years not be due to a 4-second technicality. But like, so that makes me very sad for Romania as well.
Agreed. Both can be true. I mean, you can be happy for the gymnast, but then also upset for Jordan, or vice versa when it was different. You could be happy for Jordan, but upset that the Romanians didn't get the medal, depending on what side you're on. Both can be true. part that can be true is that you don't have to verbally attack either side in this situation, either of the gymnast side, like the gymnast, because it's not their fault
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah, go to town on the IOC and the FIG and the people who messed up in this situation. They deserve the hate. The
Mhm.
gymnasts do not.
So, yeah. But Sarah, you said you wanted to end on a positive.
Yeah, let's end on a positive note, Martin. What was your favorite part of the gymnastics, the Olympics?
The quad view.
The quad view.
I think I said it also with NCAA stuff. I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
a I I don't know. I like seeing a lot of things at the same time so that I'm not missing anything. So like, all right, one person's doing this, one person's doing that, one person's doing that. So I always feel like I'm Morgan Freeman in The Dark Knight, just looking at a whole bunch of different screens, able to just go from each one and I'm not missing anything. So I think that's cool, being able to see all the different gymnast activities. And I don't know, man. I think, unfortunately, now the sour note of this situation is most people's lasting impression of the Olympics. But if you take this out and you take out Skinner stuff, you can almost darn near
I don't
say,
know.
well, Skinner stuff is just more drama sense, which some people want to keep it in, which is fine. It's either or. The drama added
Hmm.
to it, especially when they won, so I'll keep that in. But really, this stuff, you take that out, I don't see how you get a more better televised product,
Hmm.
obviously like storyline wise, from start to finish. The trials, from the trials of Simone going crazy, from Suni and Jordan battling out, from it coming down to Suni's best event at the end to get that second all around, and she did, and then you're happy for Suni and sad for Jordan. Just from that start to, all right, what's Suni gonna do on the Olympic stage defending her all around? What's Simone gonna do as the GOAT coming back? What's Brazil gonna do? Romania? All these different things in all the countries that we talked about last podcast, and even with the USA men medaling for the first time since before basically we were out of diapers pretty much. And like, I just think like you don't get a better product than what they put on this Olympic besides the Jordan Chiles stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's like one of the reasons the Jordan Chiles stuff was such a bummer because it just like soured what was like, just I was I was so happy watching all of this. Like I talked a little bit, I think, on the Olympic trials, the Olympic preview about like how much every single person on that Olympic team for the US had to overcome in order to get
Mm-hmm.
here. So like most of, 4 out of the 5 were in Tokyo when the shit went down with Simone and her twisties and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They had an Olympic experience where they didn't have fans. And like almost all of them got to come back, have an Olympic experience, win the gold as a team.
Yeah.
Little Hesley Rivera, being 16 and getting to be part of that, and then Jade Carey, like she was an individual gymnast the last Olympics, and she got to be part of the team competition. That was huge. Um, the all around, I mean, like Simone winning was great. She did mess up on bars, which like made everything like way tighter with Rebecca Andrade. And we got to see like a battle for all around gold, which
Mm-hmm.
was amazing. And seeing Suni, like I know you love your girl Suni. Um, but Suni had an amazing games. Like, she got the gold in the team, she got bronze in the all around, which was just that was a moment. Like I will not forget how I felt when I saw Suni realize she won another all around medal. I think she might be the first person since Nadia Comaneci from Romania
Mm-hmm.
to win Olympic all around gold and then come back four
Yeah.
years later and get on the podium again. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
We had a repeat gold medalist in Simone Biles. We had Suni winning bronze on bars. The gold and silver medal gymnasts on bars were incredible too. Kalia Nimor and Chu Qian from China, they were both incredible. And then someone I don't want to lose in this is like Jade Carey. So she's not as outgoing. She's definitely not as outgoing as Jordan.
No.
She's not as like famous as Suni, but she was an Olympic gold medalist on floor in 2023, not in 2023, 2021. And she's just this rock, solid rock for Oregon State all these years. Did an entire NCAA season with no breaks, went right into the Olympic season, and won another gold and another bronze. Watching Jade perform two of the most beautiful vaults I've seen her do in a long time to win and earn that vault bronze. It's something I'm very happy for her for. And I'm just so happy for, how all those gymnasts did. I think they all lived up to their potential, except on beam, which we don't need to talk about.
Fair enough.
but but beam was rough. Beam was rough. There were some rough falls. But yeah, USA couldn't have asked for a better Olympics apart from the Jordan Chiles situation.
No. No. And I couldn't agree more. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to. Let us know what you thought about the Olympics. And obviously, thank you, Sarah, for being our gymnastics expert, finally getting to cover first Olympics on the pod. So that was really
now that the dust has settled.
Yeah, now that dust has settled. Obviously, the season will be back in December doing a season preview.
Exactly.
But there's still months out. You might hear Sarah before December. You don't know.
Yes, we'll see. And I do want to say, after this comes, after the Olympics comes, all the kids are going back to college. We're getting NCAA gymnastics. We do have confirmation that the incredible Jade Carey will be returning to Oregon State, which I never doubted. And we will see the incredible Jordan Chiles back at UCLA and back in action doing her thing at UCLA. So looking forward to covering that.
LSU's already called their shot. They want the repeat. They've already called it.
And Florida, Oklahoma revenge tour, and I think Florida, they
nothing's worse than seeing your hated rival win it all. Trust me, nothing is worse. So, but that'll be in December. But maybe you'll see Sarah beforehand on something else, maybe some different topics. You don't know. We'll see when it gets to that point. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. You guys take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.